So I think the handshake is a very important and ancient gesture of trust. One says that the handshake was important because you show that you had no weapon in your hand, but I think now, at least in the Western culture, it's also a very important sign, and it's also a signal of trustworthiness that if you say about a person, yes, you can make a deal with a handshake, so you don't need all the written documents. And I love the picture of the handshake because I think in sales and in customer relationship, it's all about trust, and the handshake is the sign for trust. So this is really about combining digital and humans and the core of the values to make good sales and build a good sales team. So I start with a very short introduction. Probably most of you have heard about Swisscom at least. It's like the Deutsche Telekom from Switzerland, but of course with a lot of innovation and great spirit and also great network coverage. Actually, we just won a test this morning on the greatest network ever, and it really also works up in the Alps. If you go skiing, make sure you roam on Swisscom. But I'm not here for advertising. I'm here for the shops. So we have 8 to 10 million visitors per year in the Swisscom shops. The population is about 8.5 million. So you could say on average, we have 50% market share. Every customer comes to a Swisscom shop 2 or 3 times per year to visit us. And one of the KPIs I'm most proud of is in the top left of the picture. Customers who visited a Swisscom shop in the regular NPS request, they value Swisscom double as high as the ones who don't come to the shops. So in the shops, we really do the magic to make it happen and create the customer stickiness and make the enthusiasm for the brand. And I come back to the handshake, build the trust, because in the end, it's all about trust. Then, of course, if you look at the shop, you have the people working there. There's a picture of our new digital concept. We have 113 owned shops across Switzerland and some partner networks. And I will tell you how we make the handshake happen in our own shops. So the bet. I believe, and Swisscom does as well, that great customer experience believes on great sales experience. Why? If the people who work in the shop while they talk to the customer, they have to think, oh, am I allowed to give this promotion? Do we have the phone on stock in red in 256 gigabyte, whatever? So they are distracted. I want them to keep the eye contact, listen to the customer, and not try to digest information in the head of their minds. So I think this is very crucial, and this is the best support we can get to them. So for me, it's important that the pride on the product, on the brand, on what we sell is deeply in the people who work for the brand. And I think there's no other way to make it transfer to the customer. Maybe you recognize if you enter a house or a shop or a building, most times we don't feel a lot. Sometimes it's really energizing, and sometimes you have bad vibes and you just want to step back out again. So I think it's very important in a shop to have a good have the good vibes, have the good esprit in the team, and really help the customers and the teams to get all the information and the service they want. So I will show you a quick video on how the shops look like now, and they were really driven from a customer experience design perspective and with digital elements, and I'll come to the people component later. So this is the welcome zone where we inspire customers and promote the new technology. You see the digital screens. This is the welcome terminal. This is the exterior digital screens. A zone for longer talks with seats. Screens where you can explore the phones. Digital price tags. A lot of data we get in the background for sure. And we figured out that if you have a quiet zone in the back where you can talk to the customer, you can make up to 10% more contracts, which is amazing. We help the customers at the service bar to work with our app. And that's what we built over the last 4 years. So we're almost through. We have 20% shops left which are not on the new concept now. And coming back to the handshake, I hear a lot of discussions about what will artificial intelligence do, what will computers do in the future, what's left for the humans. And I believe that both have their own superpower. The computers are rational superior by far. I think we don't have to try to act like computers. Our strength is elsewhere. Our strength is emotional, empathy, creativity. And I think both have to come together for a really good experience. And yes, computers can build trust with reliability as well, but I think they can never build the same trust a human person or a face can. So it's important to have them both together. Most important elements where I can give some examples on what we did. You see the phones, and in the back you see a screen. On the screen, we present the accessories, we present the price. You can choose which tariff plan, and then the price changes for the phone. So some customers prefer not to talk too much to the consultants, so they just make the package themselves on the screen. Others prefer to be consulted, and then they can do it together. And I'm coming back to my introduction. The consultants, even if they're new on the team or new on the topic, they don't have to think so much, what's the phone again? What's the accessory? It's there in front of them. They can do it together with the customer in a very natural dialogue. We have the service bar where we assist customers for things they can do within their app. And we have a check-in, which I must admit is not so much used by the customer yet, but we're working on it. So if we look at sales, I mean, when the idea came up for me to run a sales team, I was like, yeah, you're just chasing after KPIs all day long. So what's sales about? And working with the team and being there now for 4 years, for me, the most important learning was sales is super emotional. If you look at the top angle, you have to work with a team, you have to be there, you have to discuss with them, very respectful on eyeball hate, and also explain a lot. I think 80% of the success we made through strategy changes, through different products, through quick changes that they really have to do in the shops is because the entire management, including me, of course, takes an immense amount of time to be with the teams, explain why we do it. And I think sometimes, yes, there's a product you're supposed to sell or a promotion they don't like so much. But if they understand the importance for the company, and if they understand why they're doing it, it's much easier to get the buy-in from the team as well. And then, of course, there's always the KPIs and the pressure. We're in sales. The pressure is not going away, but it's important to handle it positively. And to handle it positively, the storytelling is important, performance tools is important, the digital experience is important, the development of the team is important. We invest a lot in training, and the buy-in from the team that they really want to develop is important. So for the cultural transformation we did in the shops, for me, the key topic was to focus on positive energy and take negative energy out. Positive energy, as I explained, if you enter a room or a home, you want to feel the good vibes and not the bad ones. And I will come to the negative energy in a moment, why it's so blocking. And I think that's not only for sales, that's for all human beings. So if you look again at the superpower of humans, and I think it is the positive spirit, you can see there's an upward spiral and a downward spiral. I think all of you know. And we can influence this. Emotions are contagious. We can shape our heads, the direction we go in that spiral. But if you look at stress, it's a little similar to alcohol. It reduces the mindset, it reduces the vision, it reduces the way we speak, and sometimes you say stupid things that you regret later on, and that happens under stress as well. So you really want to take the stress out of the system and help the people on the performance. And yes, in sales, there's a lot of stress because the KPI pressure is there. Even more important to focus on the positive energy and on reducing the stress. So technology there is a very important element. This picture looks a little weird, but for me it's really important thing. In the old shop concept, we had a very small box in the corner with all the cables, and it was an analog concept. Now we had to change buildings for some of the shops because there's so much heating coming from the new service system. We need to run the digital store that in some of our shops, we couldn't deal with the heat anymore, so we had to move shops. And I think this combination is very important also to understand that digital is not the animal of retail. It's really a joint journey and a joint experience. So the proof we made in Swisscom is that the sales volume was boosted, the number of customer contact was boosted, which proves they like to come to the shops even more. The conversion rate went up by 10% points. We do an employee NPS survey every 3 months, which went up by 10% points, and the TNPS went up by 10% points. So I think it's really important that we continue to use the technology and to build on that concept, so we can really be present with the customers, present with the team, and support the sales. And it's something confident I couldn't put on the slides yet, but of course we continue with the experimentation. We're starting to build shops that are supposed to run without consultants. I personally believe there's a very long way to go until you have in telecoms really a self-consulting shop. But for us, it's more about the vision. The idea is that we really extend the use of technology to the max. And then if we have a person in the shop who does the consulting with the customer, it's even better. But in theory, the shop could maybe one day be run even without a person in the shop. But I think we always also have to follow the speed of the customers. Right now, as I mentioned before, we even struggle to have our customers use the self-check-in terminals. So I think there's still some steps to go until we have the shops where customers do their contracts and everything themselves. So that was the introduction of the Swisscom story in quick, and I think we can now open the round for questions and discussion. And I would also like maybe all the speakers from this morning to come back so we have a little more of an interactive discussion.